The Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Diego Castro. While some businessmen welcome charter change to encourage foreign investments, there are others who fear that lawmakers would use the opportunity to tinker with political provisions. Local business leaders aired their sentiment during the Senate's public consultation on Chacha in Cebu. They fear that opening up the Constitution may lead to amendments such as term extensions for officials in power.
We would like to be very cautious about it kasi we know for a fact that once this is opened already, we might lose control of all the other agenda in terms of term limits, the political dynasty provisions, no? So, yun lang po ang concern namin.
Senator Robin Padilla, chairperson of the Senate Committee on Constitutional Amendments, said the chamber will ensure that amendments will be limited to economic provisions only should Chacha push through.
Hindi po kami papayag na magkaroon ng magkalokohan dito. Tatayo po kami at magiging bukal po kaming magsasalita. Nalokohan na ito. Ganun. Ang gusto po natin talaga ay magdulot na ng ginhawa, pag-unlad, pagbabago.
Justice Secretary Boying Remulla has revealed that MT Princess Empress is a scrap ship turned into an oil tanker. Remulla said the vessel that caused a massive oil spill is apparently 50 years old already, contrary to earlier claims that it was built only 2 decades ago. The DOJ is now working on the case build-up against owner RDC Ray Eld Marine Services.
Sa simulat sa pool, nung nangyari itong kasong ito, nung unang meeting namin ng Sabado, ang bitaw pa sa amin na salita na ang sinabi raw nila sa Coast Guard ay bagong-bago itong barkong ito. At hindi pa na siya bago. Ito'y luma na, scrap na siya, na nirebuild. Unang nirebuild para maging LPG carrier, tapos nirebuild na naman, pinahaba para maging tanker.
Meanwhile, the Maritime Industry Authority clarified that the company has been given a Certificate of Public Convenience or CPC since 2017, which will expire by 2043. But it has to secure separate certifications for its ships declared as new.
There is already an application. However, it's not yet done. There has been no approved CPC as of yet for permanent addition of ship because the company still has to comply with some lacking documentary requirements. Ang kumpanya po has a valid company CPC. However, the ship, M-Tanker Princess Empress, has not yet been added to the company's.
Some updates on the oil spill cleanup. Both Philippine and Japan Coast Guard personnel are trying to contain the oil that is leaking from the sunken MT Princess Empress. 2 tugboats are leading the offshore oil containment using oil spill booms in waters of Nauhan, Oriental Mindoro. The tugboats are stationed some 3 nautical miles or around 5 kilometers from the supposed location of the sunken tanker, which the Philippine Coast Guard says releases around 10 to 20 liters of fuel per hour. Currently, authorities are retrieving up to 700 to 1,000 liters of concentrated oil from affected waters per day. The remotely operated vessel or ROV, which will inspect the tanker and determine the best way to siphon the remaining oil, is set to arrive Monday next week. We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Diego Castro. The Bureau of Internal Revenue laments low tax compliance among online sellers. This as the BIR reports that only 7,000 of the 2 million sellers on online platforms have registered with the Bureau. Some sellers explain they have not registered due to confusion over BIR's process and policies. The BIR says the amount collected from online sellers in 2022 could be doubled if more business owners had signed up. For this reason, the Bureau is coordinating with online platforms for its information drive on its processes and encourage more online sellers to register.
We want them to also comply because to level the playing field. Kung yung brick and mortar na sari-sari store na literally nakikita mo is required and is complying with the registration, sana ganun din ang online sellers. They don't have to worry about maliit lang kami because the tax code is embedded with mechanisms which gives relief sa mga maliliit.
The Bureau of Internal Revenue has filed criminal complaints against 4 suspected ghost corporations. The BIR identified them as Build Force Trading, Crazy Kitchen Food Trade, Decarich Super Trade, and Reddington. Commissioner Romeo Lumagi Jr. said they sell fake receipts which will be used by buyers as deductions to their expenses. Lumagi said the fraudulent tax scheme has cost the government around 25.5 billion pesos in revenue losses. The complaints against the 4 companies stem from a raid in December 2022 where thousands of illegal documents were seized.
They put up corporations specifically to sell fake receipts. Yan ang binebenta nila at ang mga bumibili dito, ang mga negosyante na ginagamit itong resibo nito as corresponding deductions sa kanilang expenses at saka sa VAT. We will still continue filing cases against the sellers. Ito pa lang ang unang kasong final natin.
President Bongbong Marcos believes the Philippines is getting closer and closer to reaching its goal of 20 pesos per kilo rice. But for consumers and retailers, this remains out of sight as rice prices continue to increase. Shaila Francisco with the report.
Yung bigas, yung aking pangarap na sinabi na nung bago akong upo na sana mapababa natin ang presyo ng bigas ng 20 piso. Hindi pa tayo umabot doon. Dahan-dahan palapit. Nasa 25 piso na lang tayo. Konti na lang. May bababa natin yan.
The 20 peso per kilo rice was President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s campaign promise. But more than 8 months since he assumed office, the price of rice is nowhere near this value. In Kadiwa ng Pangulo stores, rice is sold for 25 pesos per kilo. But the Samahang Industriya ng Agrikultura pointed out that these are subsidized rates and is not reflective of current rice prices. Local rice is currently sold between 32 to 46 pesos per kilo. But in Metro Manila markets, prices have increased by 1 to 4 pesos per kilo. The reason for this is attributed once again to the high cost of fertilizer. But for imported rice, which is now more expensive by up to 4 pesos per kilogram, high world market prices is being blamed. Retailers like Margie are now getting complaints from their customers.
2 pesos pa lang, nagre-reklamo na sila, umaalis na talaga yung customer. Paano pa kaya kung talagang inano na namin sa yung alam mo yung pagtaas namin, hindi pa talaga siya yung sagad. Kahit anong paliwanag, ang hinahanap pa rin nila yung 20 pesos na pinangako. Yun ang laging binabalik sa akin.
The Federation of Free Farmers warned as early as now that supply may even tighten during the lean season as farmers have lowered production due to high fertilizer cost.
Hindi pa masyadong stable yung supply, no? And ang magiging problema natin pagdating ng June, July, August later this year, no? Baka doon magkalalabas yung very tight supply.
For its part, Bantay Bigas is calling on the government to impose a price control. The Agriculture Department, however, is looking into providing cheaper local fertilizer.
Ang pinakamaganda lang talaga dyan is that mag-source tayo locally. Kung whether it's compost, organic man, or chemical fertilizer, dapat meron tayo para hindi tayo dependent doon sa ating import.
The government has also allotted 13.3 billion pesos for its fuel discount voucher program for farmers. Shaila Francisco, we are One News.
And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us again at 9:45 a.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. I'm Diego Castro. We are One News. All sides, all the time.